Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good start to the month and of course to Junk Journal July. Thank you so much to everyone for the absolutely amazing response to the YouTube hop that happened the other day. It was so wonderful to see everyone's really inspirational videos, and I hope that it was useful for you. I thought it was just a really great launch for the challenge. If you haven't seen those videos and you'd like to, I'll leave a link down below where you can watch the playlist. There is just so much junk journal inspiration there, I can't even tell you. So thank you so much for watching that. It was amazing. So today I am sharing with you day 3 of the Junk Journal July challenge, which is Botanicals. So for me, this is something that I pretty much do in every spread if you've seen any of my journal pages before, but I wanted to include it for those of you who maybe don't include florals or botanical illustrations or inspiration within your journal. I basically wanted to welcome you to the world of botanicals because I absolutely adore using botanical themed things in my junk journal. I think it just goes really well with the kind of vintage vibe that I like. Fussy cutting, the botanical illustrations that I like, I find really relaxing. It's such an easy thing that you can do when you're just like watching TV or you don't necessarily want to create in your journal, or maybe you're not feeling too inspired, but you can just batch cut a load of florals to then come back to at a later time. So I am absolutely obsessed with using fussy cut florals within my journals. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend giving it a go. You can find old books with floral illustrations, you can find images online. There's so much potential for florals in your journals, so I highly recommend it. What I'm doing on this page, there isn't really any writing, I'm just purely focusing on decorating, and I had a question the other day actually about whether writing or the decorating was kind of more important, and for me it depends. Sometimes I do like to leave room for writing, so in my page from the other day I left room for a pocket where I added some hidden journaling, or maybe I'll add some quotes, but this one I just went with a quote. I didn't feel like I needed to do any writing, I just wanted to play with paper, to do some collaging and just have fun with that. I didn't feel the need to write. So in this spread I'm just having fun with lots of different textures and patterns of papers. So I've used some printed tissue paper, I have used tracing paper, different scraps that literally were just floating around on my desk. I've probably ripped them off from something else, and I tend to not let anything go. It can be the smallest piece of paper, and I've got a little envelope on my desk and I like sweep them all up into a nice little pile and I stick them in there because I think I work in A6 journals, so it's bigger on an A6 journal than it would be on an A5 journal, for example. So those smaller pieces are really great for creating little pockets of interest with collage clusters in the corner of a page. So sometimes, you know, if you're working on a page and you think, oh, there's something missing, but I don't know what, but I also don't want to add anything that will detract from my main image. So for example here, the main image is that beautiful illustration that I've got going sort of across the page, and I don't want to detract from that, but I do also want to fill in a blank space. So often what I will do is I will grab my little pile of tiny scrap papers, and then I will layer them on top of each other and just create that bit of interest on my page. I just absolutely love playing with different textures and colours, and I just think it adds a really nice touch to your journal page. You could do it across the edge of your journal, you could do it in a corner, you could do it coming across your page. It's just a really great way to use something that would otherwise go in the bin. So in the spirit of junk journaling, that is literally things that would be in your bin in your craft room. So I put them to good use, and I think that it's a really great way of using things that you already have. So something that I like to do to combat the busyness of a junk journal page, so whether it's a book page or something that has quite busy imagery, is using tracing paper, or sometimes even the leftovers of a sticker sheet. Sometimes if you have rub-ons, then the backing that's used to protect those is a bit like a sort of translucent paper. You can stick this on top and layer it onto your journal page. It won't add too much bulk, but what it will do is really push back the text or whatever's going on behind. So you'll still see it, it won't completely cover it, it will show through, but what it does is it really pushes it back and mutes it, and I really like that effect. If you don't have any tracing paper or anything like that, you could also water down some white paint or maybe some watercolor, whatever you have, and just put a light wash on top of whatever page it is, just to push back some of that busyness if you're not a fan of having it in the way of your page, but you still want the effect of it. So I love to play around with the different layers, and it adds a real dimension, I think, to my journal page, because it's a bit of a like ghost layer, so you can see that it's there, but it's not taking over my page, it's not overwhelming it, and it really kind of gives the attention to the focal point of my page, which is obviously in this case the botanical image. So if you're finding that maybe your pages are feeling a little busy or things are competing with each other, then maybe try layering over translucencies or using watered down paint, like I said, to try and push things back. And you can really get experimental with pushing things back and then bringing things back into the foreground. It's a really great way of experimenting in your junk journal. So that is my tip for you today. Maybe go and see how you can play with layers and depth and dimension within your junk journal. It's just a really fun way to push what you can do with your pages and add some visual interest to your pages. So if you are following along with the challenge this month, or even if you're not and you're just working in your junk journal or your art journal, whatever it may be, I really encourage you to try new things and don't be afraid to see if things work, and if they don't, then you just either work with it and see what you can do with the page, or you turn over to the next page, because at the end of the day, it's just some paper in a journal. It's not the end of the world if you have to turn to the next page and try again. It's all about the process and experimenting and learning. Not everything that you make is going to be perfect. Not everything you make you're probably going to like. I certainly don't. So don't be afraid to try new things, because that is how we learn, that is how we grow, and it is through the quote unquote bad pages and bad art that we get to the good stuff. It's almost like you have to push through it sometimes, and it can feel frustrating and disheartening, but I promise the more you create, you will discover what you like and your style almost, and the things that really bring you joy with journaling. So throughout the month, I'm going to be sharing with you some of these junk journal with me's for the prompts for the challenge, showing you behind the scenes of the process of the pages and my thought process behind them, because I think it's quite interesting when I watch other people's journal with me videos to really hear about their thought process behind the pages. So I hope you find that useful. And if you want to see the pages that I create for each day of the challenge, then I will be posting those over on my Instagram. So if you're not already, I'm just at Meg Journals there as well. You can follow me and see every prompt that I do for the challenge. And if you are stuck on any of the days for this challenge, then I would definitely hop over to the hashtag for Junk Journal July. There is so much inspiration there already. There are so many people sharing their pages, and it's really fascinating to see just how one word prompts, such as the welcome or highlights or even botanical, how people interpret things in such different ways. There's so many creative angles that people are taking, and obviously everyone's different styles, and it is just absolutely amazing to see everyone's junk journals within this feed. So I would highly recommend heading over to the hashtag and taking a look, because it's just so incredible to see everyone's junk journal pages. So I hope that you have enjoyed this junk journal with me. Let me know down below in the comments how you're getting on with the challenge so far. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.